Don't you forget about me. As you walk on by. Alright, we're not even doing a morning roundup till we get back. I'm just getting right into it. I don't even care. I don't feel like doing nothing. If I was being really prudent, I would change the motor. We wouldn't even be doing this. But we're not here to be prudent. Got a couple packages to drop off. But that's it. We're just going straight to Lufkin. Sun's out, fun's out. For some reason, there's a lot of traffic around campus. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Tiffany messaged me. We have learned 3 amazing things. So first off, Mrs. America is not the end of the line. Apparently there's something called Mrs. World, and she's gonna be doing another costume. I assume that must be not very soon, but she says she's gonna use me for that. So that's amazing. We're going to have representation on, I think she said it was called Mrs. World. I guess the second thing is she is gonna share out the link for the coffee prop. I don't know if anybody's gonna buy it. Like, I don't know how many people in our audience would want that, but we might sell at least a couple more. It's views. Maybe they'll look at other things in the shop if nothing else. But to me, most interestingly, actually the first thing was really interesting, but she wanted to do the coffee hat. Like, she desperately wanted to do it. But there was a hairstylist that she had that was just telling her, like, don't do this. You know, you can't do this. And she like argued with this person back and forth. Basically, she was really trying to wear that coffee hat. It wasn't like she didn't like it or anything. She was like super stoked, but her stylist just told her no, basically. Which, you know, to be fair, she did win. So maybe that guy knew what he was talking about. Who knows? I also think she said something about like another photo shoot that she's gonna be doing with the hat. Maybe I misread that, but so those are some pretty cool developments. We're probably gonna make some kind of patriotic themed costume for Tiffany. She said that the Statue of Liberty thing is very, very overdone, which I'm sure it is. We'll try to come up with something, but that's exciting. On a wildly, almost polar opposite subject, I don't know what got me thinking about this, but there's this YouTuber that I used to watch kind of a lot. I shouldn't say a lot, but every once in a while. Her name is the Anti-Bot. I guess she's famous, so whatever. She used to do all these actually pretty interesting videos exposing multi-level marketing scams. As a business person, I find that rather interesting, you know. Anyway, recently she came out as a Satanist. You know, that kind of thing really gets my attention. Like, I guess she talked about sort of a lot of subjects. I was mainly just watching the multi-level marketing stuff. But yeah, just like, hey everybody, I'm a Satanist. As a person that will read Wikipedia articles for a very, very long time and sometimes lose myself in them, it did kind of get me reading about Satanism. You know, I think of myself as not having very many really, how should I say this? I think the vast majority of what I've achieved in life is mostly through hard work, honestly. But there are a few gifts I have that I think are kind of unique. I think one of those things is the ability to be objective and dispassionately evaluate things regardless of my priors. I'm, of course, as everybody, very imperfect with this, but it is a skill that I've really cultivated a lot. As somebody who is an ordained minister, and by the way, the reason I bring that up is because it took a lot of effort to get, and it's almost totally irrelevant to my life. Telling people I'm an ordained minister is about the only thing, it's the only yielded benefit that I've gotten from being an ordained minister. I shouldn't actually say that, but practically speaking, that's what it is. It's probably not too far off from saying you have a degree in philosophy. I mean, basically the only purpose of that is just to tell people you have a degree in philosophy. Also, you did learn things. So yeah, obviously I have a pretty significant built-in bias against Satanism. But I decided to engage that objective mode, that let's evaluate things without too much bias mode, and just kind of approach it from a more pure philosophical perspective. So I guess the first thing to say is there are like different schools. There are different schools of Satanism. It's a little hard to know specifically what any individual person might believe. And also, it's largely based on hedonism. It's pretty much, I mean, it's kind of like if you were an impulsive, bratty 2-year-old and you just never changed your ideas about anything. Not to throw kids under the bus here, but it is a little bit like the terrible twos, except you just stay that way. You know, common themes are like basically all moral ideas are impositions, and they limit how happy you can be or something. But then there's also this stuff that they shoehorn in about being empathetic and kind and compassionate, which seemed like moral injunctions that might limit your happiness. So a lot of the stuff definitely seemed pretty incoherent, pretty, I would say it seemed what I would call parallel with reality, in the sense that it does not intersect with it. In a lot of these destructive ideologies, there's this idea that there aren't any basic rules that the universe just operates by. There's a lot of this social constructive thought in Satanism. Maybe it's not totally explicit, but it's kind of this idea that, like, if you reject moral rules, what you're kind of saying is that there are no ways that things should work among humans, let's say. If there's no right way that things should work, you're also kind of saying there's no best way that things should work, which is also kind of like saying everything should work badly. Because, like, if the way people interact with each other, if we think of all the ways that people can interact with each other, can we never say that any way is better than another? Like, is there no best way? Is there no way to interact with other people that is bad or worse than other ways? Because that's what would have to be true. Once you concede that there is a better or best way in any given scenario to interact with another person, you're basically just doing morality. So you can't really, then it's just, why are we rejecting moral rules? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Not to go off on a tangent, but whenever you have a conflict with another person, there are really only two choices. There's negotiation, and then there's violence. And when you reject morality, you're kind of rejecting negotiation, because that's always what it is. It's like, let's reason together, let's find sort of a objective standard that we should behave according to, which implies that there's some underlying rule of the way the world works. So obviously a pretty easy implication is that if you really take Satanism seriously, you're just advocating for violence. You just don't know it yet. Or maybe you do. But all of that's sort of obvious. Like, it was not surprising to me that Satanism was an incoherent ideology. I kind of knew what it was about, but I thought I would give it a shot, and it failed. The more interesting thing to me was reading about the life of Anton LaVey. Now, to be fair, there isn't like one person that kind of started Satanism, I guess. He's just kind of like the poster boy. He's kind of the most famous, I think. You could point to other people, but... So, one question you could ask is like, well, listen, if this entire Satanism thing is just about being happy, did the guy who started it, was he happy? Did he live a happy life? And wouldn't you know, the answer is pretty much no. So maybe the first thing to note is he had a daughter. Her name is Zena LaFay, which she changed her name or something. And she didn't have a great relationship with her father. I don't know if I can go so far as to say that she hated her father, but she definitely disavowed his philosophy, and it seems like there's some acrimony there. Now, some of you that read a lot of memes, you might know that Xena LaFay, there's this whole conspiracy theory about her being Taylor Swift, because when you look at young pictures of her, she looks almost exactly like Taylor Swift. So, you know, first piece of evidence, not a good relationship with his daughter. Her mother and Anton never got married, and it ended badly, so that's not fun. As I kind of read about his later life, didn't seem like he had any really quality relationships. I think he died somewhat early. That's not great. He did get to play organs at carnivals and stuff, and he was in Rosemary's Baby as like the devil or something. But yeah, just as I read this guy's life story, it did not seem like somebody that probably was very happy. Not somebody that I particularly, you know, want to be. Turns out if you make yourself synonymous with the devil, you might not have the best life. Yeah, anyway, I don't know why I decided to bring this up, except that I just read about it a lot last night. Turns out Satanism doesn't sound like that great an idea. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, a lot of the stuff in the Satanic Bible apparently was plagiarized. Like entire sections of words and stuff were just taken from other things. So it also turns out, not the most creative guy. Also, a check in the wrong column. I'm not even sure I would want to do this. I wonder if this channel will ever get so big that I could like debate people, like famous people. I'm not even sure that I would really want to, but it'd be interesting to debate the merits of Satanism with somebody. I'm not even sure if I would want to have some contact or any kind of association whatsoever with somebody like that. Maybe if it was the right person. I don't know. I'm quite happy for the channel just to remain somewhat small like it is. I'm pretty happy with things as they are, but it might be kind of cool to get to debate people or have conversations with people if it got bigger. I don't know. I don't even know if I want that. There's an awful lot of drama that comes with actual fame, you know, not just interesting niche internet micro celebrity fame. All right, we're basically here. Nothing makes the time pass like a thoughtful critique of Satanism. Pretty sure Mr. Rogers said that. Oh yeah, before we get to the first place, there was something I was wanting to add to that now that I think about it. In some ways, it's almost like there are only really two worldviews. There's short-term thinking and long-term thinking. Personally, part of my theory, I'm kind of slowly coming up with this theory that I think is going to, I hope, is going to unify science and theology. Long-term thinking is unique to humans, but there's obviously a lot of short-term thinking. And one of my theories is that basically that short-term thinking is like this, it's essentially what animals do. Among animals, there are these like early echoes of long-term thinking. It's the kind of thing where squirrels collect acorns and they put them somewhere. You know, you have like ants, leafcutter ants, and different kinds of ants that store up food. It's not an articulated mental thing, but they're kind of embodying this. Our ability to recognize and conceptualize the future, I think, is part of what makes us what we are. Satanism is definitely about this like short-term gratification stuff. It's about, I mean, this is what rejecting morality often is. It's just not recognizing that the future is real. Like if you steal a TV or something, that is a very cheap way to get a TV, for sure. But if everybody steals TVs, eventually nobody is going to make them anymore because there's no reason. So over the long term, you get less TVs, but you do get some TVs in the short term. So like this long-term thinking is a uniquely, it's the differentiating factor in a lot of ways with what makes us human instead of just beasts. That's why there's this subtle bestial quality to Satanism. And it's also why Anton LaVey's life probably sucked a lot. If you have an entire philosophy that's rejecting this idea that the future is real, whether you're articulating it that way or you're just enacting it, your life is gonna suck. Well, anyway, with that being said, we are at the Joseph house. Also, I think this is why the conceptions of heaven that certainly in Christianity, but other things as well, they conceptualize it as an eternity. In other words, it's this place where the future stretches out, where you experience the future infinitely, kind of. Like, we can only grasp the future as far ahead as we can imagine, or maybe we can identify principles that don't change that will be true in the future, like the laws of physics or something. But, you know, all of that to me points to this thing of like treating the future like it's real, treating time as it's a real thing. And an eternity is where you're seeing time all at once. Anyway, let's go thrift shopping. I think we're getting this for coffee. Is that supposed to be Carrie Fisher? Wow, Stravinsky. We're getting that. Check this out. Some pretty good stuff. We got the Stravinsky tape. If there's any Yes fans out there, the Firebird Suite. Yes used to play that before their concerts to warm people up. We got Donnie Brasco. I actually was gonna look through the VHSs a little more, but I don't have an excuse for why I didn't. This is probably not good for my retention rate on YouTube, but there is a channel called Michael Francis. Michael Francis is the highest ranking mob person ever. He was a capo de regime, and he did not end up in prison for life or die. So like, that's a very unique thing. And he tells all kinds of stories, and he knew the real Donnie Brasco. Not only did he know the guy who was the real Donnie Brasco, he's interviewed him at least once, and it's awesome. If you want to just waste tons of time, go look up Michael Francis. And got this for coffee. We've been using a smaller thing, and famously, I had one of these, but it was made out of plastic and it shrank. So this is a nice metal one. Maybe I should have had the discussion about Satanism to this soundtrack. Next Goodwill. Sadly not my size. This is pretty horrendous. I think it'll work. I definitely feel like I could be holding a giant bowling ball or a bowling pin or something while wearing this. Sadly not my size. I was thinking this place wasn't gonna end up being very good, but we did get the shirt. Like I said, not amazing, but this could be really right for the right thing. I really am getting like bowling alley carpets or laser tag carpet vibes. However, one truly great item has been secured. Yes, for $3. I am, well, I don't know what I am. I am some sort of jester, I guess. I am the Sug Jester. I have a real feeling that this is going to be the thumbnail. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't reveal this. Sometimes you gotta leave a little Easter egg in there. If I ever did debate people, I would wear stuff like that. I would want people to be humiliated in a debate by somebody that just looks completely retarded. I'm kind of already getting a little hungry. I think we're gonna eat real quick. No, we're not going to Dunkin'. We are going to Chen's. If this channel ever got big, I would very much take a sponsorship from Dunkin'. They could call it Dunkin' Debates, the Dunkin' Debate series. They probably wouldn't do that. I'm not even sure I would want to do it, but yeah, I'd be a corporate sellout. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to do anything really, really bad, but man, I would sell out all kinds of, I would sell out more fun, something different ways to Sunday. I can't remember the idiom. What is it? 7 ways to Sunday? Is that what people say? I would sell out 7 ways to Sunday. That's what I was trying to say. This place is actually pretty good. I feel cool. At the end, when I was paying, I said, "Shay Shay," and she's like, "Shay Shay." Oh man. Well, on to the next place. Well, it's time for the often underwhelming Salvation Army Segunda Mano. Oh, here we go, new Yanni tape. I thought this said Rammstein. couple of finds. Well, we did get Rachmaninoff. I like Rachmaninoff a lot. The thing I always think about him though is like his compositions. Here's the problem with Rachmaninoff. One of the greatest pianists and composers ever to live, literally, but he never composed a single thing that you can hum. Like, you can hum Mozart. Dun, 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 dun. You can hum Liszt. Dun, 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 dun. Bach. Da, da, da. Rachmaninoff, while amazing, has nothing like that. I challenge, I was going to say hum something in the comments, but you can't do that. But yeah, when you see people playing his stuff, it's like, it looks like it's in fast motion or something. Yes, we do have a new Yanni album. I've never really talked about Yanni. I'm not a huge fan, but he's way cooler than we all thought he was in the 90s. Because of those dorky like infomercials. Yanni, to me, is the perfect example of something that could be popular in the early 90s. And he did continue through the grunge era, but it was not the zeitgeist anymore. You know, it was like Yanni, Nirvana, no more Yanni. And I did get Sphere. The last time I saw this movie was when it came out. So I remember liking it as a kid. Man, somebody had a dog just tied up in their yard. Looked like he'd been tied up there forever. I hate it when people do that. Holy crap. Come on in, Top Knob. How did they know that was my nickname? Out of all the places we go, this one tends to kind of be the most expensive, but also sometimes has some of the best stuff, and today was no exception. So yeah, not the biggest pipe, but take a look at that carving. That's really quite cool. There is something about just the way it feels in the hand. You're kind of like exploring all the little dents and things. We'll save this for later. Yes, of course, I had to get the Miami Vice soundtrack tape. Dude, just listen to this. This has Jan Hammer. Of course, he's the guy that did the Miami Vice theme, which is probably why it's on here, or why he's on here. Glenn Frey, of course, Shaka Khan, Phil Collins, Tina Turner. Oh yeah, Grandmaster Mel. You belong to the city, in the air tonight. Of course, Miami Vice theme. I'm not gonna lie, this is really small print. Also, for only $1.50, a very old edition of Highlights. If you were a kid in the 90s, you know what this is. But this is like a really early edition. I don't remember when they started Highlights, but I wanna say maybe 60s. This is probably a pretty early one. And the thing that's great, the illustrations and stuff are in quite good shape. It's all like, it's not torn or anything. Der Freischütz. Maybe we'll play this later, just out of curiosity. I do have an electric piano now. You know, I think my electric piano was made in 68, 69. It would have only been like 7, 8 years old when this came out. However, the single coolest thing that I found here, Boston's third album. I literally can't believe this. Everyone knows Boston's first album. Boston's second album had some radio hits. This had Amanda, but Third Stage might be my favorite Boston album. It's not so much that it's even, like, obviously you can't beat the first Boston album for songs, but like, this is like conceptual. I listened to this so many times as a teenager. I just wore out the record I had. Yeah, we're gonna rock this. Oh yeah, take me home. Hey, I don't think I can hide what I'm feeling inside. Another day, knowing I love you. I'm gonna take you by surprise and make you realize, Amanda, I swear it's not a lie, girl. Tomorrow could be too late to say I'm in love with you. Oh man, what an album. Oh yeah. Break it. Oh, here it comes. We're ready. Oh, what a band. Man, future generations are gonna forget about Boston. What a shame. Such a great band. We really do have everything in these episodes. Weird art at antique stores, discussions about Satanism, and classic rock that isn't satanic. Wow, that's super cool. Nothing I couldn't live without. Some of the guitar parts on this album, they overdubbed 1,000 times, which was like not done back then. Like there. Oh, here it comes. We're doing it. Are you ready? Great. I hate to be that guy, but we really have lost a lot. It's amazing to imagine an era where like popular music sounded more or less like that. We're making pretty good time today. This is, you know, often kind of the best one. Not always, but a lot of times we're finding some pretty good stuff here. Sadly, not my size. Okay, shockingly, there was not a single cool thing in there. Every day I think of you. You're on my mind. There's a Mexican restaurant around here. Outside it says tamales, enchiladas, frijoles. It's like, do you really have to advertise that you have beans? Like, of course you have beans. Yeah, make sure we go to a Mexican restaurant that has beans. Last time I wasn't so happy.
behind, like the shadows linger at the close of day. And we could see we were timeless dreamers of another day. We were free in a dawning age. We had some words to say. A blue jean lady so eager to be free. And I still hear guitars in the air.
I feel like this episode accidentally became an infomercial for the band Boston, but so be it. I've been saying for years that the third Boston album is criminally underrated. I really believe it. You know, the first two will always be the big classics, but people skip that third one, and that's a shame. Anyway, we are at Second Blessings. That's my favorite movie. Way too small, but really cool. Dun 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 dun. Look at that absolute unit of a microwave. That's a weed whacker on top of this.
29.32 or 29.31.
This is actually about the right size. I've had better days at Second Blessings, but we did get the members only jacket. I actually asked the locals what Pine Squares is, and they had no idea. They even asked an old guy here, and he didn't know what it was. Yeah, it's nice and hot right now, of course, but it'll get chilly. This will be good for wearing on the Segway, you know. Also, we decided to get this random Bruce Willis movie. I don't remember this at all. Bruce Willis, weirdly, he has this ability to make like tons of horrible movies, but everybody just remembers the good ones, you know? Like when people think Bruce Willis, they think, oh, I mean, he's like a legit actor, but he put out so much schlock over the years. However, some of it's so horrible, it's funny. And it kind of seems like this might be one of those. But yeah, that's our adventure for today. You know, we have actual stuff we got to do. We're probably going to try and swap out that motor today. Won't actually take that long, but I never like doing it. Didn't break the bank today. For the trip home, you know we got to do it. Let's just say I'm about to advise you. Tape. Fun fact, when you listen to the Miami Vice theme, your car, legally speaking, becomes a Ferrari. Definitely have to do the thing.
In money, twice in years, in the jail cell, trying to hide tears in the check bag, cause you tried to get fit in the graveyard or in the shallow ditch. Wouldn't do $1 or two, but every line she told he knew to be true. He loved this money, but she loved money. Miami didn't never snow. Now it's snow in the palm trees, snow on the sand. The snows all day for $60 a gram. Now eyes with no concern, but soon he would learn that next is his turn. Constitution, it's a so throw your hands in the air and don't put them down, keep them way up there. Just slip me your wallet up to all your pocket. Got an inch finger figuring out on the cocket.
I like pretty much any hip hop that sounds like that. Pre-1985 especially. Knack, sweet knack. Just in the knack of time. That was a good little trip. We didn't really break the bank. It was fun. We listened to some jammin' tune. And since we left like straight away, we've got actually quite a lot of time left in the day. So good times. Oh yeah, something I meant to mention earlier. We actually, for the first time ever, sold a D12, not a D20. Longtime viewers will remember that we came out with a D12. And it really didn't do anything for a long time, but somebody bought one today. I think they purchased it in red. So that's pretty cool. We've been wanting to try and sell other dice for a while, and the dream is happening. All right, I had to do one for the thumbnail. Now we've got a second coat for the second coat hanger. Perfect. Belated morning roundup. Sharky, and this printer is back in the game. 100% milkshake time. The plain burger is completed, and something weird's going on with this. The toast is not happy. We got a llama. Been a while since we sold one of these. Small Chihuahua dish, and yet another guitar octo. Something weird is going on with this one as well. It'll do this thing where it's printing like a whole bunch of the beginning of the object, and then it just craps out. Not sure what to do. We replaced the hot end and the extruder motor. Hopefully this one's not getting a gremlin too. The top bun completed. And very satisfyingly, the wall coffee is probably about an hour or two away from being done. I think it's gonna be a good day to list a new item, but we might as well eat the frog that's on the plate. What a disgusting analogy. We're just gonna replace the motor, we're gonna get it out of the way, and we're gonna go on with our lives. Also, it occurs to me that we probably could position this fan better. A lot of this airflow is kind of going over the top of it, if you feel it. So probably angling this down more might help a little bit. Still, I would expect this motor to last longer, but that might help a tad. We are doing that over here because we put it on this. It needed to be elevated, so the airflow is hitting this a lot better. We may even make an effort to kind of angle it down like that. A lot of people in the comments are, not in the comments, in the Discord, are wondering about the specs of the motor. Once I pull this motor out, I will show you guys, and if you can find some kind of replacement. I'm thinking seriously of getting an alternate source or finding something that's kind of compatible, even if we have to make some kind of metal mount to put it in, because at this point having like a single source is just kind of a nightmare, honestly. But yeah, let's yank this motor out. Right, so it's 85 inch-pounds, I believe that's the torque, 35 RPM, 3.5 amps, and I believe that's 24 volt DC. We pointed the fan more directly at the motor. We raised this up a bit so it was more in the air path. Here goes nothing. Well, we got our guys working again. Time to tape off the fries. We're gonna do, of course, the yellow bit. I wasn't even gonna say anything about this, but somebody left me a 1-star review saying item never arrived, and the tracking said that it was like due to arrive the next day or maybe the day after that. And I wasn't gonna complain about it because I figured I could probably get them to change it, you know, since there's very obvious evidence that we mailed it and all that. But anyway, they just left me 2 good reviews because they ordered 2 things, and so that's awesome. Oh man, what a day. Join the Discord, link below. Genuinely like the simplicity in how you manage your Etsy keywords and have a hard target for what you class as a successful keyword. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to some degree, it's also what you can get. You have to get a sense of what's good. Like if some things, you can get really good keywords. Oh, they're talking about my Etsy campaign, the Etsy advertising. I thought you were talking about SEO. Yes, I do have a hard target for what I class as a successful keyword. There was a bunch of discussion about motors and stuff. I posted the specs for the motor in the Discord if anybody has any ideas. JP Letty, a spicy roundup, just like your lunch. 11 prints, not too shabby. I can see why medium-sized products may sell better. Yeah, I think we need to go with that more. Shane Christensen, yummy, a torta. It was yummy. We'll get a torta tomorrow as well. Oh man, what am I grateful for today? Honestly, the members only jacket is probably it. Once it starts getting a little chilly, it's nice to have something that's kind of light, but does keep you warm. It's weirdly in like perfect shape. Usually those old jackets, it's like there's something wrong with it, but it looks like pristine. So I'm pretty happy with it. Big gratitude. Let me know in the comments what you are grateful for. Could be a mundane thing, could be something really spectacular. Tell me about life events, dreams, aspirations. Thanks for coming with me on the journey. It's been pretty wild and we've got a lot of cool things coming up. We drop the goodness every single day. You are the Gratitude Gang. Peace out.
Say what I need. This blinding arm of lessons I'm seeing to standing in a moment. What has been is cast aside, frozen there as time rode. I know that you must have died. So leave me something precious, another sunlight. Lion waves surround you. Open up say auf Wiedersehen.